Imagine this. You're in a crowded courtroom in the Middle Ages, but instead of a human on trial, it's a rat being judged. Or maybe a pig, or even a whole colony of ants. This might sound like something out of a fantasy novel, but it was a strange reality in medieval Europe. Animals, from insects to livestock, could be put on trial for crimes just like humans. These trials were serious legal events with lawyers, judges, and witnesses. The animals were accused of offenses ranging from property damage to even murder. Join me as we delve into the curious world of animal trials. To understand animal trials, we first need to understand the medieval worldview. People in the Middle Ages lived in a world deeply connected to nature. Animals were a crucial part of society, playing vital roles in agriculture, transportation, and even religious symbolism. This close relationship fostered a sense of kinship, but also fear. Animals were seen as capable of both great good and terrible harm. This belief, combined with the religious framework of the time, led to the idea that animals were subject to the same moral and legal codes as humans. The Bible, particularly the book of Genesis, played a significant role in shaping these beliefs. This duality fueled the notion that animals were accountable for their actions under the law. One of the most famous cases of animal trials involves a group of rats in 16th century France. The rats were accused of destroying the barley crop in the province of Autumn. This was a serious offense, as it threatened the livelihood of the community. The rats were summoned to court, but as you can imagine, they didn't show up. A local lawyer, Bartholomew Chassaneuz, was appointed to represent them. Chassaneuz argued that the rats were scattered throughout the countryside and couldn't be expected to gather on such short notice. The judge, impressed by Chassaneuz's argument, granted a postponement. However, the rats never did show up for their day in court. Animals weren't just tried for property damage. They could also be accused of crimes against humans. One such case involved a pig in Falaise, France, in 1386. The pig was accused of attacking and killing a young child. Witnesses claimed to have seen the pig bite the child, who later died from the injuries. The pig was found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging. This case demonstrates the severity of punishment in medieval law. In 1519, in the Swiss canton of Valais, a colony of ants was taken to court. Their crime? Damaging a vineyard, a serious offense in a region known for its wine production. The ants, unable to speak for themselves, were represented by a local lawyer. The lawyer argued that the ants were simply following their natural instincts and weren't intentionally causing harm. He pleaded for mercy, emphasizing the ants' role in the ecosystem. The judge reached a compromise. He declared that a piece of land would be set aside for the ants, and they were ordered to move their colony within 3 days. The ants, surprisingly, relocated their colony to the designated area. At first glance, the idea of putting animals on trial might seem absurd. However, these trials were rooted in a complex system of beliefs and anxieties that shaped the medieval worldview. Medieval society was deeply religious, and people believed that God had created a divinely ordained order in the universe. This order placed humans at the top of the hierarchy, but it also imposed a sense of responsibility to maintain justice and balance in the natural world. Animals, as part of God's creation, were subject to this same order and were held accountable for their actions. Life in the Middle Ages was often precarious. People were at the mercy of natural forces like famine, disease, and animal attacks. These trials reflected a deep-seated fear of the unknown and a desire to control the unpredictable forces of nature. Today, the idea of putting animals on trial strikes us as cruel and absurd. We recognize that animals lack the moral capacity to understand human laws and don't deserve to be punished in the same way as humans. However, the legacy of these trials offers valuable insights into the evolution of human thought, ethics, and our relationship with the natural world. The gradual decline of animal trials coincided with the rise of the Enlightenment and the scientific revolution. These movements emphasized reason, observation, and the separation of human and animal behavior. As scientific understanding of animal cognition developed, the notion of animals as moral agents faded. Nevertheless, the ethical questions raised by animal trials continue to resonate today. Animal trials were just one aspect of a complex and multifaceted relationship between humans and animals in the Middle Ages. Animals were an integral part of every aspect of medieval life, from the farm to the battlefield. They were sources of labor, food, clothing, and companionship. Horses, oxen, and donkeys were essential for farming and transportation. Sheep provided wool, cows gave milk, and chickens laid eggs. Dogs herded sheep, guarded property, and provided companionship. Cats, often seen as spiritual creatures, kept homes free of rodents. Animals also played a prominent role in medieval art, literature, and folklore. The world of the Middle Ages was a world in which belief often shaped reality. People believed in the existence of mythical creatures like dragons and unicorns. They attributed natural disasters to divine wrath or demonic influence. This fusion of faith, superstition, and folklore had a profound impact on how people perceived and interacted with the world around them. Animal trials were a product of this worldview. The belief that animals were capable of sin and reason was a logical extension of a system of thought that permeated every aspect of medieval life. These trials demonstrate the power of belief to shape not only individual perceptions, but also social norms and legal systems. The practice of putting animals on trial may seem bizarre today, but it reflects a particular stage in the evolution of human justice. In its early forms, justice was often based on retribution and maintaining order through harsh punishments. This applied not only to humans, but also to animals, who were seen as part of the same moral and legal framework. As human societies developed, so too did their systems of justice. The emergence of legal codes, courts, and professional lawyers led to a more formalized and nuanced approach to law enforcement. The Enlightenment and the scientific revolution further challenged traditional views of animals, leading to a gradual shift away from the idea of animals as morally culpable beings. Nevertheless, the legacy of animal trials reminds us that the pursuit of justice is an ongoing process. While they may seem strange and even cruel, animal trials offer us valuable lessons for today. They remind us of the importance of empathy, critical thinking, and the need to question our assumptions about the world around us. They also highlight the ever-evolving nature of our relationship with animals and the ethical responsibilities that come with our place in the natural world. The story of animal trials serves as a cautionary tale against anthropocentrism, the belief that humans are the central or most significant entities in the universe. It encourages us to recognize the intrinsic value of all living beings and to treat them with respect and compassion. By studying the past, we gain a deeper understanding of the present and a clearer vision for the future. The story of animal trials is not just a curious footnote in history. The history of animal trials in the Middle Ages continues to fascinate and challenge us today. It sparks our curiosity, provokes debate, and encourages us to reflect on our own relationship with animals. While we no longer hold animals accountable to human laws, the ethical questions surrounding our interaction with the animal kingdom remain as relevant as ever. As we continue to learn more about the intelligence, emotions, and social complexity of animals, we are compelled to grapple with difficult questions about animal rights, their welfare, and the very nature of our place in the web of life. The story of animal trials serves as a starting point for a broader conversation about our responsibilities to the natural world. It highlights the importance of fostering a more just and compassionate relationship with all living creatures.